Well, hello my CNC brother or sister. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and I'd like to welcome you to this video. What I'm going to cover in this video is the easiest way that you can start a CNC business. If you are someone who is considering getting a CNC machine with the idea of starting a side hustle, or perhaps actually going into a full-time business or developing that business, or we'll say you've got a CNC machine already with that intention, this video is for you, because I'm going to teach you the easiest way to get business to walk into your lap. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of CNC machine it is. It can be a laser cutter or etcher or a plasma cutter or even a CNC router like our long mill CNC router here. You can get business to start coming to you if you approach it in this way. And it's very easy. What you want to do is let people know what you're going to do. Now, let's say you've already got the machine and you've been making projects. One of the things you want to do if you are on social media is start putting your projects on your social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or wherever you are at. You want to get that stuff out there and show people that, hey, I made this for my daughter, I made this for my friend, whatever it is. Just get pictures out there and let people know you're making these things. What happens with that is people will start to approach you and say, I was wondering if you might be able to make this or that, whatever. And you'll start getting random business just from that. It's very cool. Of course, you got to charge for it, but that's the way to do it. Now, let's say you're not on social media. Then you talk to family, friends, co-workers, whatever. You've got to talk to people and simply let them know and show them the projects. Now, if you don't have a CNC machine yet, and you're kind of holding off because you're just not sure it's going to work, the way that you handle it with that is tell people what your idea is and show them what you can do with that machine if you get it. Almost all the time, people start throwing ideas at you from their own perspective of things that they would like to have. And when they start doing that, you can start to dialogue with them and say, well, I can make that for you. And then they'll ask you if you can. And then you just walk your way right into it. That business has come to you because all you did was talk about it. So this is the easiest way to get started. And I'm going to tell you that this is how 99% of CNCers get started in business. In fact, if you are someone who has already experienced this, where that business literally came to you, put down in the comments a brief summary of your story of how this has happened to you. And if you are the other person who's not really sure, then I want you to go down and read the comments and see how this works. It's amazing how the business comes to you by virtue of you being able to get into a craft where you can create virtually anything that somebody can come up with, so long as your machine is capable of doing it. It's very, very cool. Now, I want to teach you another thing that's even better. Something that can turn into more of a regular business type of model, where you can basically produce and literally ramp that CNC machine up into a regular business. This is for you who's like the 9-to-5er and you're like, I just want the hell out of my job. I hate it so bad and I want my own thing. I want something that I own that I feel proud of. It's also for the retiree, right? You're getting to the end of your work life and now you're thinking, what the hell am I going to do next? I need money coming to me, or I just want a challenge. It doesn't matter. But this is the better thing to do if you want to really build a business with your CNC machine. And that is, start engaging with business owners. This is really critical. Now, it doesn't really matter what business that business owner is in. Every business owner has the idea, just like you. They want to make money. And so they have a specific business to make that money. It can be a coffee shop, candy shop, craft store, clothing store. It doesn't really matter. But the whole thing is you want to approach the business owners and start letting them know what you do. But you've got to handle this very differently. If you handle this in a way where you say, hey, I'm going to be making this, do you want to buy some? They are almost always going to say no, because you're coming to them in a salesy type of fashion, and nobody wants to be sold to. Everybody wants to buy something, but nobody wants to be sold to. So what you want to do is come with a very different approach, and you're going to use one of two different approaches. So the first approach is, let's say you're just trying to learn how to do a certain thing with your CNC machine, but you don't know. What you want to do is go find a business owner that has some experience in that particular area. Let's say you're going to be doing, you're wondering how to take this piece of rosewood and turn it into a fretboard. Well, then go to a music shop and talk to the owner and talk to him about how fretboards are made, and fretboards for guitars. Ask them how they're made. What are the nuances behind it? What kind of wood would you use in it? And by the way, this rosewood, excellent for fretboards. I'll talk to you about this in a minute, because if you want to wear some rosewood, I have some available. But so you're talking to this person about how to do this. Sometimes what happens is that individual will say, I'm actually looking for someone to make this kind of stuff for me, and I want them customized with specific inlays along the fretboard or something like that. Now you've got a contact, and you can say, well, maybe I can do that. Let's talk a little bit more about this. What do you mean? Give me some ideas. And basically what happens, it just channels itself down to this person saying, can you do this for me? And then you start talking business. It's a beautiful way it works. Now, the other way to handle this is going up to a business owner who is always thinking about how to grow their business, and say, I am making things on a CNC machine like this fretboard right here, whatever it might be, this 3D inlay, or it doesn't really matter, but you're approaching them with that, and you're saying, I want to get this out to the marketplace, but I'm really not sure what I should be making. Can you give me some ideas of maybe what your type of clientele tends to like? What is their likes and dislikes, and things that you think that they might like? And what happens from that is this person is going to want to share their knowledge with you. We all like to share what we know. And so when they're sharing their knowledge with you, not only is that going on that they are feeling good about sharing their knowledge with you, they are in the background of their mind processing ideas that might work in their business. And so the same thing kind of comes up. You know, my customer base likes this, or can you make this, the little plaque that symbolizes making coffee for a coffee shop. Everybody loves coffee, especially me, right? In fact, I love coffee so much I have a buy me a cup of coffee donation link down in the description. So if you feel like this is helping you, then give me a thumbs up, and you can buy me a cup of coffee, right? Because I love coffee. Anyway, what will happen there is they may come up and approach you with ideas and ask you if you can make them. Now, I don't want you to close your mind down to, oh, I just have to go to retail stores. You can go to hardware stores, lumber yards, and I want you to really be broad about this and just think about all the kinds of businesses and simply go and talk to that business about what you're doing. I want to give you an example how this worked for me in actually getting the shop that I have. It's a little bit of a mess, but that's sometimes the way shops are. I've got this big 3-bay garage. Now, this 3rd bay is mine. The rest of it belongs to a framing shop, which goes up there, and I am sharing business with a framing shop, which is pretty ideal. I was engraving glass, and I simply just went up to the owner of the shop and I said, I want to engrave things in glass kind of like this, but do you have some input about glass and the nature of glass? And so I was getting his feedback, and he was getting ideas of what he can do on glass for the pictures that he frames. And we started talking business ideas, and that has generated or turned into a business relationship. We now work together in the same space. I do things for him, he does things for me, and the two businesses complement each other. And he's got lots of business contacts, and that has actually created other little miscellaneous sales for me. Now, I have not taken my business to that scaled up level because I spend most of my time teaching you. I want to share my knowledge with you so you can succeed. But the whole idea that happens behind this whole thing is, if you get in front of the right people, they're going to say, I need this, and I need this on a regular basis, whatever it might be. And then you can turn your CNC router or whatever CNC machine you have into a production machine and get regular business. And now you're specializing in a product or a niche. And you can best believe, if that business owner has a need in that area, then you can guarantee that other business owners in that industry are also interested in the same thing. So once you've mastered that, you can approach other business owners and say, I'm doing this, and this is something that's in demand. Would you be interested in? And you're going to get more business that way. This is the best way to approach turning your CNC machine into a full-time business. So make sure that you read the comments below. And for you who has had this happen, where you've either had business fall into your lap, or by virtue of what I have talked about, you've ramped up into a production type of business, please share that story down below so you can help your CNC brother or sister who's just getting started like you did at one time. Sometimes we need that extra boost of confidence, and those kind of stories will give it to you. The last thing I want to share with you is this. If you haven't got your CNC router yet, or whatever CNC machine it is, and you're sitting on the fence because you're feeling like, I just need to know, I want to share with you this one thought. That is, it won't happen if you don't take the plunge in one way, shape, or form. What I would just suggest is buy the router, buy the laser, buy the cutter for yourself, and just start making stuff and just share it with other people, and then things will come to you. The beauty behind that is you're able to express your creative side. We all want to be creative, and the normal world out there kind of stifles us from being creative. And the beauty of the CNC machine is it allows you to be fully expressive of who you are, where you can create something. And there's so much pride in being able to take a piece of wood or glass or whatever it might be, like this rosewood, and turn it into an amazing fretboard, right? It's just so cool to watch that machine come to life and create something that you designed. So with that, I was going to talk to you about the rosewood. I have a friend who approached me. He's not very wealthy, we'll put it that way. His name is Pat. He actually works in the shop as well. He's a cobbler and a tinsmith. And Pat is just kind of an old-time guy. He's doesn't have much money, but he's got a hell of an interesting skill. And he said, Garrett, my roof is falling in on my house, and I don't have the money to fix it. He said, but I've got stacks of rosewood. I was wondering if you could let people know that I have it, and maybe they can buy it. That'll help fund my house repairs. I said, let me see what you got. And so he brought in these. I've got quite a few strips of rosewood here. Right there. There's just 5 of them all together. And he planed a few of them down so I could see exactly what it is. And some of them are not planed. So they're between 3 inches and 4 inches wide, and they're all about 3 feet long. And this stuff is dense. I mean, it's heavy wood. And look at the grain on that. It's just so beautiful. He's got stacks of this stuff. Rosewood. This particular rosewood, he says, comes from Honduras. And he used to have certificates for it, but the certificates got lost, so he can't sell it out in to lumber yards and what have you. So I figured maybe he'd asked me if anybody here would be interested, and I said, we're woodworkers on CNC machines, who wouldn't be? So if you're interested, then you might want to email me. I'm not sure what he's charging for it, but I do know at this point that rosewood per board foot is $37 a board foot. So this is about the equivalent of a board foot. Won't be $37, I promise you. Anyway, so that's it. So I hope this video helped you out. If it did, give me a thumbs up, especially if you are someone who is interested in getting into business, right? That maybe this gave you a little more confidence as to how to start and to trust this whole process, that if you just get yourself out there, the business will come to you. With that, I'm going to check out. So hope you have a great day, better tomorrow, and happy CNCing. Just dive in and do it.